Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world that increasingly tells us to be comfortable, to avoid discomfort, and to run from anything that challenges us. But let me tell you one hard truth. Comfort breeds weakness. It dulls ambition. It kills drive. And if you're too soft, life will chew you up and spit you out. It's time to stop being soft. In today's fast-paced and digitally driven world, comfort has become the default setting. With food delivered at the touch of a button, entertainment available 24/7, and technology solving most of our daily inconveniences, we've grown addicted to ease. While these advancements offer convenience, they've also led many of us to avoid anything that challenges or tests us. The very essence of growth lies in discomfort, and when we avoid that discomfort, we unknowingly place limits on ourselves. The more we seek comfort, the less willing we become to stretch, strain, and endure, which are the very ingredients necessary for transformation. This overindulgence in comfort slowly begins to erode resilience. When you no longer push your limits, your mental muscles begin to weaken. Tasks that once seemed simple now feel overwhelming. The ability to face adversity shrinks because you've trained yourself to avoid anything hard. You become emotionally fragile, easily triggered, and increasingly anxious, not because the world has become more difficult, but because you've become less prepared to handle it. That's what happens when you surround yourself with comfort. You lose your edge, your hunger, your grit. Furthermore, this craving for comfort cultivates a dangerous mindset of entitlement. You begin to believe that life owes you something, that success should come with ease, that happiness should be automatic, and that you deserve rewards without putting in the work. But the real world doesn't work like that. It rewards effort, persistence, and those who are willing to push past discomfort. When you're too soft to challenge yourself, you begin to envy those who do. You look at their results and wonder why you are not getting the same, without realizing that they chose struggle while you chose safety. True strength, mental, emotional, and physical, is born in hardship. The people who thrive in life are the ones who've embraced the grind, who've made discomfort their ally, and who've said no to the lure of easy living. Comfort may feel good in the moment, but it weakens your capacity to handle pressure. If you always choose the easier path, you will never know the power that comes from conquering the hard one. You have to ask yourself, are you living to be comfortable, or are you living to become strong? Because you can't have both. One of the most painful yet powerful realizations a person can have is this: no one is coming to save you. It sounds harsh, maybe even cruel, but it's the truth. We live in a world where many people wait passively, waiting for the perfect opportunity, the right person to believe in them, or some magical sign that will shift their life. But life doesn't work like that. The sooner you understand that your success, your healing, and your future all depend on your actions, the sooner you start making real progress. Taking ownership of your life is the first step toward building something meaningful. This mindset shift Moving from dependence to personal responsibility can feel uncomfortable at first. It's easy to blame circumstances, your past, or other people for where you are. But blame is a trap. It keeps you stuck. Every time you point a finger outward, you delay the internal work that needs to be done. The moment you stop expecting someone to rescue you is the moment you begin to empower yourself. You start building habits. You start building habits. Because you've taken command of your own life. You feel present as you think you, and you start building. Relying on others for your happiness, direction, or rescue creates a cycle of helplessness. You become a passive participant in your own story, waiting for a hero to appear. But the truth is, you are the hero. You are the one who has to rise up, face your fears, and make the tough decisions. Every day you wake up is another chance to change your circumstances, to write your narrative, to stop being a victim of life and start being the author of your destiny. But that only happens when you stop waiting and start moving. The world doesn't owe you anything. No one is obligated to fix your life or make your dreams come true. That responsibility is yours and yours alone. When you accept that no one is coming to save you, something shifts deep inside. You stop complaining, you stop waiting, and you start doing. You develop grit. You get hungry. You become a force to be reckoned with. This realization is not about isolation, it's about empowerment. When you rely on yourself, when you build your own strength, you'll never have to wait for someone else to give you permission to rise. Your strength is not developed in moments of comfort, but in the depths of struggle. It's easy to appear strong when everything is going smoothly, but real resilience is built when life pushes you to your limits. Struggle tests you. It strips away your excuses, exposes your weaknesses, and forces you to confront who you really are. In those moments of difficulty, when everything inside you wants to quit and yet you choose to continue, that's when strength is born. It's forged through discomfort, shaped by adversity, and hardened by persistence. We often look at strong individuals and assume they were always that way. We admire their discipline, their focus, their courage, without understanding the battles they endure to get there. Strength isn't a gift, it's a result. It comes from failing and trying again. It comes from enduring pain without breaking. Every setback, every loss, every hardship becomes a brick in the foundation of your strength, if you choose to face it head on instead of running from it. Struggle doesn't weaken you unless you let it. It prepares you, sharpens you, and teaches you to endure what others won't. People who avoid struggle in the name of comfort are unknowingly avoiding the very process that would make them stronger. They look for shortcuts, for easy paths, for ways around the work. But nothing worthwhile is built without hardship. The body doesn't grow without stress. The mind doesn't sharpen without challenge. If you're always looking for the easy way out, you're robbing yourself of the growth that only comes through effort and resistance. Struggle isn't the enemy. It's the training ground for greatness. The key is to shift how you view struggle. Instead of seeing it as something negative, begin to see it as the test that builds you. Embrace the challenge. Understand that the pain you feel now will become the power you draw from later. When you walk through fire and survive, you come out stronger. When you carry heavy burdens and refuse to quit, you become unshakable. Struggle refines you. It's there to break you. It's there to reveal what you're truly capable of becoming. In a world that increasingly encourages people to follow their feelings, it has become common for individuals to make decisions based purely on emotion. While emotions are an essential part of being human, allowing them to completely dictate your choices is a sign of softness. When every decision is based on how you feel in the moment, whether you're tired, angry, scared, or uncertain, you begin to lose control over your direction in life. Strength lies not in ignoring emotions, but in learning how to master them. No longer drive the car. You 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 no longer drive the car. Softness shows up when people quit too soon. Not because the task is impossible, but because it's uncomfortable. They give up at the first sign of frustration. They retreat when they're criticized. They abandon their goals because of temporary moods. This emotional impulsiveness sabotages potential. Letting your emotions lead means you're building your life on an unstable foundation. What you feel now may be completely different tomorrow. Without discipline and clarity to guide you, you risk making choices you'll regret later. All because you let your emotions speak louder than your principles. People often confuse sensitivity with softness. Being emotionally aware is not the same as being emotionally weak. The difference lies in what you do with those emotions. A strong person can feel pain, fear, or anger, but still take action based on logic, purpose, and commitment. A soft person, however, becomes paralyzed or reactive, allowing negative emotions to control every outcome. The ability to pause, reflect, and respond deliberately is a strength. When you train yourself to lead with conviction instead of emotion, you begin to break the chains of softness that have been holding you back. Mastery over emotions is a lifelong discipline. It doesn't mean shutting off your heart. It means building the strength to act in spite of it. Life will test your patience, tempt your anger, and challenge your confidence. If you crumble every time your emotions rise, you will spend your life running from difficulty. But if you build the inner toughness to manage what you feel without letting it control you, then you develop true power. Softness is surrendering to your lowest impulses. Strength is rising above them. And then, discipline is the foundation upon which all greatness is built. While motivation may give you a temporary spark, it is discipline that keeps the fire burning. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they act. But motivation is fleeting, inconsistent, and often unreliable. Discipline, on the other hand, is a decision. It's the internal agreement you make with yourself that says, I will show up no matter how I feel. This is what separates the average from the elite. People who rely on discipline push forward when others quit. They get up when they don't want to. They work when no one is watching. That is what molds champions. The problem is that discipline is uncomfortable, and discomfort scares people. It demands sacrifice, structure, and the willingness to delay gratification. It means saying no to things that feel good in the moment, but do nothing for your long-term goals. It means doing the hard thing, the boring thing, the inconvenient thing, every single day. But that repetition, that relentless commitment is what produces results. Greatness is not born from convenience. It is earned through a series of difficult choices made with consistent effort over time. Discipline doesn't just build results, it builds identity. The more you practice discipline, the more you start to see yourself as someone who follows through, who doesn't make excuses, and who refuses to be ruled by laziness or emotion. This identity becomes a source of pride and personal power. You begin to trust yourself because you've proven that you can do hard things. Discipline isn't just a behavior. It becomes part of who you are. When you truly internalize discipline, your standards rise, your confidence grows, and mediocrity becomes unacceptable. Without discipline, even the most talented people fail. Talent might get you started, but discipline is what gets you to the finish line. It's what keeps you going when the excitement wears off and only the work remains. People often admire greatness without understanding the pain behind it. The early mornings, the sacrifices, the hours of repetition, the countless moments of doubt that were conquered by discipline. Discipline is the engine that drives excellence. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it is absolutely essential. In a world obsessed with validation and applause, there is a rare kind of power in those who choose to work in silence. Too often, people are more focused on being seen than on being excellent. They post every small win, broadcast every goal, and crave recognition more than results. But the truth is, real progress doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the dark, when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, and when there's no reward except the quiet satisfaction of knowing you're doing the work. The ones who rise the highest are often those who grind the hardest, when no one's paying attention. Working in silence builds something far greater than external praise. It builds character. It teaches you to be self-motivated, to take ownership of your goals, and to keep going even when encouragement is nowhere to be found. This kind of work ethic is rare because it's uncomfortable. There's no immediate gratification, no likes or comments, no instant reward. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. When you stop performing for others and start pushing purely for yourself, you begin to unlock a level of focus and discipline that few people ever reach. The most successful individuals within sports, business, or personal development have mastered the art of silent preparation. They don't talk about what they're going to do. They just do it. Their results speak louder than any words ever could. When you learn to fall in love with the process rather than the praise, you become unstoppable. Silence isn't weakness, it's control. It's a sign that you are confident enough in your journey that you don't need validation from others to keep going. You trust the work you're putting in, even if no one else sees it. This silent grind is what separates those who succeed from those who only wish they would. It's the unseen hours, the unnoticed sacrifices, and the countless repetitions behind closed doors that build champions. Hard work is not glamorous, and that's why most people avoid it. They want the finish line without the miles. But if you are willing to embrace the quiet, to keep pushing without praise, you will start building results that don't need explaining. In a noisy world, those who master the silence become the ones worth listening to. In a noisy world, those who master the silence become the ones worth listening. Facing the truth is one of the hardest things a person can do, because truth doesn't coddle, it confronts. It doesn't tell you what you want to hear, it tells you what you need to hear. And in a world filled with distractions, illusions, and excuses, truth has become uncomfortable. But only when you have the courage to face the brutal realities of your life, your habits, your choices, your failures, can you begin the process of transformation. Truth is not meant to break you. It is meant to wake you up. Until you confront it, you will keep circling the same patterns and blaming everything but yourself for where you are. Most people avoid truth because it demands change. It exposes weaknesses and shatters comfort zones. But power comes from that raw confrontation. When you finally admit you've been procrastinating, avoiding effort, or making excuses, you take the first step toward growth. That self-certainness, however painful, is necessary. You can't build strength on lies. You can't create a better life by pretending things are fine when they're not. Your power begins the moment you stop pretending. That's when the real work starts. Because now you're building on something solid and honest. The truth also brings clarity. Once you stop lying to yourself about how much effort you're really putting in, or how disciplined you truly are, you can start setting real goals and taking effective action. It removes the fog of illusion and brings everything into sharp focus. You begin to see the gap between who you are and who you want to be. And instead of hiding from that gap, you get to work on closing it. Facing the truth gives you direction. Where your actions actually matter, where your decisions actually count, where your decisions actually count. Earned power is different from gifted power. What you earn through truth, effort, and discipline is unshakable. It's the kind of strength no one can take from you because you built it. You earned it through sweat, failure, and persistence, and most importantly, you earned it by having the guts to confront yourself honestly. The people who truly succeed are not the ones who lived easy lives. They are 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 the ones who lived easy lives. That kind of power is rare. And it's real. It comes at a cost. But it also gives you something most people never have: control over your life. So now the question is simple. Are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to take control? Are you going to keep waiting for someone else to light the fire under you, or are you going to strike the match yourself? You already have what it takes. But it only comes alive when you stop being soft. Stop running from discomfort and start stepping into the hard, silent, disciplined work of becoming your strongest self. No one's coming to save you. No one's handing you greatness. It's up to you now. Stand up, face the truth, do the work. And earn every inch of the life you want.